he was in that gully position. That would have been cut off. Is there perhaps a sign here they feel that they have a better chance of getting at Terence Hinds here, and perhaps playing on him his mind a little bit?
But I'm very surprised. It's only the second over of the morning's play. I would have thought that skipper Kevin Hodge would have taken the opportunity to really have aggressive fields and try and pry out a wicket at this early stage of this morning's play.
So he has gone, and now Bishop is back into that gully position. So perhaps they were giving De Silva the single, and think that they have a good chance of firing away and prizing out the wicket of Terence Hinds. Hinds thought about playing at that, just pulled away at the last moment. And Terence Hinds, we're talking about fast bowling and how strenuous it is. I mean, you got to have that core strength, of course, and great flexibility to go with it.
Yeah, I was looking at a clip where Sir Curtly Ambrose was doing some work at the Albion Cricket Ground recently in Guyana, and the main topic for discussion was definitely spot bowling.
Yeah, that's right. Curtly Ambrose was doing a clinic in Guyana. Oh, that's a good delivery. Just testing one outside the off stump, and Hinds again in two minds whether to play that one. And Sir Curtly, I believe it was Berbice that would have brought Sir Curtly there, and that's one of the things that he really stressed on with the youngsters, spot bowling, and let the pitch do its work. 50 youngsters came out to that particular clinic, and tell you what, if they get at least 3 fast bowlers out of that, it'll be great for Guyana cricket. Guyana cricket hasn't really produced a ton of fast bowlers in the past, though.
Well, the youngster who represented West Indies, is it
Isaac Torn, yeah?
Yeah, Isaac Torn.
This one is played past Bishop. That could be 2 here for Hinds. He's turned, and De Silva has said, no, stay where you are. So they've gone for 1 here, and that's it. And that's good cricket by De Silva, I think, because De Silva has seen that Hinds was having some trouble with Lewis outside the off stump, so he's decided to take the rest of the over, take the pressure off Hinds.
As a senior statesman in the batting lineup at this stage video, you will expect Joshua De Silva to really taking the bulk of the bowling and allow Terence Hinds to get the pace of the wicket and then start developing his innings as they continue.
Lewis continues here. And off the over at the end of it, TNT Red Force are 220 for 5. De Silva on 54, Hinds on 6. And there is Shirley Clark. He is the coach of the Windward Islands Volcanoes. And tell you what, he has been able to change the team culture in a very short time with the Windward Islands Volcanoes. You get the sense already. I know this is the first time you're seeing the Windward Islands for the season. We saw them against Guyana. He's put a lot of steel into this Windward Islands team. They're not giving up, as we may have seen with some of the teams in the past.
I must admit, he seems to be a gentleman of no nonsense.
Of course, famously, his son worked with his son, his son, of course, Kyle Mayers, scoring that record 210 not out in the 4th innings. Edged, and that's going to run away here. Just exactly what he was hoping to get off the bat of Hinds, an edge, but thick edge that has run away for 4. There's a slip in place for that kind of shot, and Hinds just could not resist. He went after it, went hard, and picks up a boundary.
And on this occasion, Edwards floated that ball up in the air, got it above the eye line of Terence Hinds, and was asking him to have a go at it.
Yeah, there's a big space on the offside, and that is over extra cover. There's a deep cover in place, but over that extra cover in place there's a lot of space for him to exploit. That's where he was aiming the shot at. So a moral victory here for the bowler. So Terror, as he's called by his teammates, picks up a boundary, but a streaky one for him. Hinds up to 10 now. And how he would love to get another 100 against this team. And just to go back to Shirley Clark, as we watch another single here. That's a well-judged single to the left of Bishop, who is right-handed, had to run around the ball. He has had some success, not only coaching his son Kyle Mayers. We worked with him extensively during the coronavirus pandemic, and Mayers produced that outstanding partnership with Nkrumah Bonner in that victory over Bangladesh. It has done a lot of work locally in Barbados, and is the head coach now of the Windward Islands Volcanoes, so wish him all the success. I'm sure TNT fans would be hoping maybe after this game, not this one. So far, the Silva looks very comfortable.
Yeah, he just seems to be getting the pace of the pitch at this time, trying to work himself into really building a huge innings.
Nice pleasant on drive. Demba is on the boundary, and you would feel that De Silva needs to get a big innings here as the over comes to an end. 226 for 5. Yeah, De Silva is one of the wicket keepers. He is the incumbent in a sense. He is the man that has had the gloves, not those kind of gloves obviously, but he has the gloves right now. But he is being pressured because Shane Dorridge is back. Shane Dorridge, who had his struggles in England and also against New Zealand, lost his place to De Silva, but he's back and he's scoring some runs also for Barbados. And there's another outside shot in Devon Thomas, who got 100 in the last game also. So there are 3 wicket keepers competing for that position right now.
Well, I must admit, it's a healthy position in terms of West Indies cricket for 3 individuals to be vying for one position video.
No ball again here for Lewis. Overstepping, just putting in a lot of effort on that delivery. Bit too much. He'll have to re-bowl that one. Umpire Lyndon Rajkumar with the arm extended there. Lyndon Rajkumar in his 5th regional first-class game. And there was a nice little post on social media from Point Fortin GVC, where he does work when he's not umpiring and giving guys grief here by sending them out. He is an ICP auto mechanic instructor. So of course that's the way the batsmen see it. He's there to do his job. He's part of the 3rd team out there with Danish Ramdani. And also out there is Kashif Sandhi, who is the third, well, not third umpire, but he's the reserve umpire here in this game. And he was also at the Oval.
So on this occasion, Joshua De Silva just breaking his wrist and rotating that strike. And it's very important when building a partnership, the rotation of the strike video.
Yeah, it certainly is. But he has rotated the strike, and he's given Hinds to face up to Lewis, who he's had some trouble with already. That's better from Hinds. Picked up the line very early. And also Lewis was following through, getting very close to him and staring at him in the eye. Hinds very smartly just stepping away. You don't want to get into a confrontation with the bowler this early in the morning.
But I'm sure that's really going to fire up Hinds as well, because he loves a challenge.
He certainly does. I don't think you have to do much to fire up Hinds. He's a very fiery character. And yeah, so he will certainly want to put in a good performance with this game. If anything, he has to improve on his bowling. We can develop on that a little bit, because while he has batted well, he's more of a batting all-rounder. All right, better looking defensive shot. Terence Hinds bowling. He hasn't taken a ton of wickets as yet in first-class cricket, but in his 8 matches, but just the 8 wickets there. But his average is 54.37, so that's something he will want to improve upon, and he has to turn in a lot of miserly performances to do that.
And I'm sure, as we were alluding to earlier video, I'm sure he's doing a lot of spot bowling to allow himself to get that level of consistently to play at this level.
Oh, he's inside edge. That one is dropped. Difficult catch for Dennis Smith, but he got a glove to it. It was dying on him, and it's dropped. In fact, it's a bye. Tell you what, it may have come off the arm then, but there was a clear deflection. So Apologies to the Dennis Smith family, but that clearly took a deflection. To my mind, it looked like it was the inside edge of the bat. May have been the arm or the body itself there. It was very, very close.
But on this occasion, Lewis cut him in half. So the replay, Lewis comes in to Terence Hinds. And this one shapes back into Terence Hinds and cuts him in half. And it eludes the keeper on this occasion.
Yeah, there was something of a deflection there. Difficult to see from that angle, but it was a clear deflection. And credit to Smith for making the stop. And De Silva is picking up the line. That's a similar delivery outside the off stump, but got in line very well and just played it out. But the previous ball for Hinds, not the same way, not the same method of playing it.
Well, Joshua De Silva, he has that trigger movement that he uses, where he goes back and across and picks up the line with the back foot, and that allows him the opportunity to either go forward or rock back onto the back foot. And he seems to have the world of time to play those deliveries with you.
Yeah, he certainly does. He's expecting the delivery. It's all about anticipation also. And picks up a single on the leg side this time. And De Silva has picked up his runs quite competently. In fact, he scored a lot faster than the two successful batsmen yesterday as the over comes to an end here. 230 for 5. Jeremy Solozano and Yannick Correa getting 50s yesterday. Here's the replay once again. I tell you what, I think that looked like bat. To my mind at least. It's not the ideal situation there. But that looks, I don't know what you think, Anil, but that looks like it could be bat there.
Well, it's either the inside edge or the
elbow, yeah.
Yeah.
But what I was looking at is I was looking again here. I was just wondering if he would have rubbed his elbow, because certainly a blow like that would have, it looks a distance away from the elbow. I think that is in fact bat. But it was signaled byes, but it was a very, very close call there. Silva getting long forward. And the Windward Islands have employed that very short mid-on there. But he hasn't shown any signs of hitting anything in the air in that region. And we'll pick up an easy single. There's a man out there.
And I'm a bit perplexed by that sweeper this early in the second morning's video. I would have thought that Kevin Hodge would have been a little more ambitious, if I may say so, possibly by having that fielder who is doing work at the extra cover boundary bring him into that ring of fielders on the offside.
Well, he's hit that long, but will that carry? No, it doesn't. Well, I don't think the fielder picked it up. Demba is saying he didn't pick it up at all. He took a long time to get across to it, and Demba lost it somewhere in the far side of the stadium, but he didn't pick it up, and that is a chance gone. It was close enough for him to take that catch.
Yeah, it spent, that ball was in the air for a fair period of time that he had. Once he had picked it up on time, he would have been able to get his hands in position to take that catch. So very unfortunate situation for Edwards on this occasion.
Yeah, desperately unlucky in the first innings against Guyana. Edwards picked up another single here for De Silva. He also got 3 wickets in the second innings, but this time should have had a wicket there, but Demba did not pick it up at all. Some grounds are not great sighting grounds. I'm not sure about this one. I haven't seen any complaints about it. But for some reason, he didn't pick up that one at all against the background. And once again, we're seeing Hinds looking a bit shaky here. And the Windward Islands have identified he might very well be the next batsman to go here. And they're working him over. 233 for 5 at the end of the over.
Is it a case video where Terence Hinds is not sure how to approach his innings in terms of playing his natural game or negating and just, trying to survive?
Well, I think that's how he plays his natural. He's very attacking there, and he goes for his shots. But that time went for his shot and in the air, and Demba couldn't pick it up. He survives. So De Silva and Hinds continue here. The partnership up to 29 for the moment, 233 for 5. And it's going to be Lewis to continue. Down the leg side. And again, no sign of the new ball. So we're now up to the 90th over. It's been due for 9 overs and a ball now. And their most successful fast bowler has already bowled. This is, I make it his 3rd over of the day already. So, a little bit surprised by the decision itself.
But it must have been that Calvin Hodge and the Windward Islands think tank has seen something that they want to explore with the left-arm orthodox spinner.
Flicked away by De Silva. That's going to be 4. It was full and on the leg stump, and a batsman of his quality is going to put that away every day, 100 times out of 100, and he put that away beautifully. He is into the 60s now, and TNT looking more comfortable when De Silva is at the crease. But however, Hinds, he has to have a little conversation with Hinds, at least to rein in some of those aggressive instincts.
So an excellent execution of the on-drive by Joshua De Silva. Yeah, excellent execution of the on-drive on this occasion. And it races away through that mid-wicket region for 4 runs. So we're seeing that Joshua De Silva is really motoring along at this time.
Another run here for Joshua De Silva. And these two batsmen putting together a partnership here. But Terence Hinds, he must be in a little bit of mental confusion at this time, because he wants to play his natural game, but he's been giving up chances left, right, and center. Of course, the other objective for him is to get a good score, keep his place in the team. So he has to decide on a method here to approach this innings.
And you're asking him to really work against what have worked for him, which is his strength, which is ball striking. So he really has to dig deep mentally to adjust himself and give that support that's required to take Trinidad and Tobago Red Force.
At the other end, it is Lewis doing what he needs to do, just keeping the ball outside the off stump and allowing the batsman to make the mistake. And Hinds has made 1 or 2 errors already. That on drive in the last over that almost went to hand, an edge that went past slip off Edward, and an inside edge, what I believe to be an inside edge that was ruled as byes, that the keeper did well to stop. So a lot of action here when Hinds is at the wicket. And Lewis certainly smells blood in the water here.
But he's nicely into line and playing it neatly back to the bowler. So Joshua De Silva may have echoed something into his ear, just giving him maybe some technical advice as to how to approach Lewis.
Yes, well, he's if he looks at how De Silva has played Lewis, he's played him very competently and comfortably so far, and picking up a few cues here on how he can do so. Batting just outside the leg stump, maybe a leg stump guard here for Hinds. Oh, that one has gone away from the fielder. Tried to turn that, played a bit too early, and instead it goes out towards the cover boundary where it's picked up. And he gets to another half chance here presented by Terence Hinds.
Yeah, so it's all action for Terence Hinds at this moment. He doesn't seem to be settled at this point in time, video. Maybe just needs to take a few breaths and reset himself.
So just about that time to make a change. It is 240 for 5. Vinod Mamchan is going to be stepping in with his good friend Amit Jagannath, who is raring to go. He's warming up like a fast bowler back there.
Well, good morning for the first time, and at this point in time, the score 240 for 5. TNT resuming this morning, and they're looking to build and carry on the bowling for up to this point, as you would have seen there on your screen. And it's going to be Edwards, continuing from the Gasparilla end, and the Silva is on 64. Let me say good morning to the former West Indies off spinner Amit Jagannath. Good morning, Amit. How are you?
Good morning, Vinod. I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good as the weather. It's perfect here at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy, and the players, I'm sure, they would really enjoy the conditions. The Sahara dust that we spoke about has eased, but listening on to the weather forecast here in Trinidad this morning, they're saying that the dust will be around for a little bit longer. Probably 2 or 3 days.
Yes, Vinod. It has been a very interesting start to the session this morning. A little bit concerned about the approach by the Windward Islands team at this time. Coming in at 217 for 5 at the end of the day's play yesterday. This would have had to be a plan to get some wickets this morning.
Well, this morning it seems as if they're just content on looking to contain the TNT boys, so that they don't rack up a huge first inning score. You can see in the distance there the Sahara dust just settling, and it did affect play to the extent that lights were offered at a certain time yesterday. But today we are looking at the situation where it has eased a bit, and we should have a better day's play. 242 for 5, and yesterday we had an incident where we had a handle ball, and that happened at the Queen's Park Oval obstruction of the field. And a very good friend of mine, Roland Cox, out of St. Lucia, top statistician out there, he has sent me some information. I want to say good morning to Roland. Hope all is well in the helling of the West. And he sent me a nice little compilation of guys who would have fell in that manner. I don't know if that ever happened to you, Amit Jagannath. But did it ever?
Not during my career. I haven't had that experience at any moment. Haven't seen it.
This one squares the Silva up a bit. That's a good delivery there by Lewis. And you can see the Silva adjusting quickly. Gets it down to a wide third man. So the guys who would have fallen in the first class cricket, test cricket, and of course other first class matches would have been Russell Endine. He was the first from South Africa. He was on 3 against England at Newlands. And that was on the 1st of January 1957. I don't think I was wrong for that. Andrew Hilditch, he got 29 against Pakistan at the Wacker in 1979, and he was the second man, and that's a drive in the air by Hinds. It did move away from him, but it was wide outside the off stump.
Loose shot coming from Hinds there. I think Joshua De Silva is trying to get his attention and probably try to calm him down a bit. He has been playing quite loosely this morning.
Well, the third man to fall via handle ball at the time, but now it's called obstruction of the field, was Mohsin Khan, the cousin of Imran Khan, the Prime Minister of Pakistan. And he was on 58 against Australia at the National Stadium in Karachi in 1982 when he handled the ball. Here is Lewis, and that's a no ball. Looking for the Yorker, just striving for that extra on that occasion, and he overstepped. The fourth would be of interest. Desmond Haynes on 55, the current chairman of selectors. West Indies versus India, the Wankhede in Mumbai, 1983. Then Graham Gooch, 133. After 133, Graham Gooch decided to obstruct the field. England versus Australia. Steve Waugh, 47. Michael Vaughan, 64. In one-day internationals, we had Moinder Amanat on 15. Daryl Cullinan from South Africa on the 46. And Chamuchi Baba of Zimbabwe on 18. Well, just a side note that Roland Cox sent to me. He said in 2017, the MCC completely removed and subsumed the handle the ball into obstructing the field. That meant that the act of handling the ball still results in the batter's dismissal, but is now being recorded as obstructing the field. The new law came into effect on the 1st of October 2017, and the man of the law is sitting next to me. He would appreciate that.
That has been 5 years. It has been 5 years since the passage of that law, and I'm sure in the region here, the incident at the Oval in this game would have been the first since the passage of that new law. So it is a novel situation.
Yeah, you want to add Shimon Hetmeyer to that? Can we get an update from the Oval? Let's see what's happening across at Queen's Park Oval. At the moment, Trinidad and Tobago continues to build on a good first inning start, a good foundation. So here's Lewis again. He has been impressive.
It's the end of the over here at the Brian Lara Academy. Trinidad and Tobago 246 for 5. The Silva 67 of 118 deliveries. Hinds 16 of 42. Hinds playing quite loosely this morning. The Windward Islands attack is not showing any real signs of troubling these batsmen at the crease. They appear to be waiting for something to happen, Vinod.
Yeah, well, someone has left the helmet out there to dry. And that would have been someone who would have used that overnight, because the two batsmen has just gone out there. But it's a good shot from our cameraman Kailash Mohammed Rakbir Prasad. So Hinds showing some restraint there on that occasion, Amit.
He has defended a few, but this morning his shot selection, I must say, has been questionable at times. He seems to want to score quickly, and I could understand he's trying to put Trinidad and Tobago ahead in terms of runs on the board. However, he needs to be a little more selective.
As he is on this occasion. He's a very talented player. Young Terence Hinds grew up on a diet of wind ball, as we call it. They normally call it softball. We call it wind ball in Trinidad. He's some sort of a specialist. At the Oval, the score is 139 without loss. The Leeward Islands against Guyana, with Munson Hodge on 53 and Kieran Powell 63 not out.
Some good scores at the Oval.
Very good scores there, and they're looking now to build a lead as Hinds drives inside out. Just a single, so it seems to be.
Just as I spoke about the loose shot coming, that ball could have easily went to deep cover. He is trying to move along with his scoring, but he's probably not getting the execution of those shots the way he would like.
So the Silva would want him to stay with him as he looks to march on to triple figures. End of the over. We take a short break with the score on 247 for 5. Right, so lovely conditions, as I said, for cricket at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy. What was good yesterday was the fact that, we had some fans in, they were really involved in the play, Amit.
Yes, the little crowd that there was present here yesterday evening was very involved, as you mentioned. There were lots of cheers and shouts, giving suggestions to the players, applauding good cricketing shots. So that's very nice to see. A welcome after this long COVID period where there were many restrictions in place. This is a welcome.
There's still no alcoholic beverages allowed into the stadium. It's a safe zone, as we have many safe zones in Trinidad and Tobago. But, people always make comments. And sometimes I think that those making the comments are not really exposed. And they speak to the crowds moving away from cricket. They're not coming to cricket. I'll tell you something. They then blame the authorities here for that. And it's unfair. I'll tell you why. I've been to Sheffield Shield matches. I remembered at the Allen Border Oval, going to take in a game where Queensland were playing Western Australia. And the Marsh brothers and all these were involved in that game. You had 2 spectators and a dog. But yet we tend to come down, our administrators here in the Caribbean, saying they're not promoting the game enough. Well, this is a game where CWI has allowed patrons in free of charge. And yet you're still not seeing the numbers. Even in India, they're not watching Test cricket anymore on the ground. I was just recently having a discussion with a friend of mine who would have thought here covering the Under 19 World Cup, Sandipan Banerjee, and he was telling me that even in Test cricket now, they're not turning up in India. And if you're not turning up in India, well then, you understand what's happening.
I think that can be attributed to the shift in culture in terms of spectatorship, the game itself, the evolving game from Test cricket to the shorter version of the T20 game. People are more attracted to the fast-paced nature of the T20 game. A lot more runs, wickets in a shorter time span. I think it has to do with the attention span of the spectators.
It could be that, life has become so busy as well. But I want to throw another question to you. I'm not cross-examining you by any stretch of the imagination, Mr. Prosecutor. But what I'm asking, do you think that we have been fed too much T20 cricket? It's like every corner there's a tournament.
Yes, I would agree with that statement, that there is a lot of T20 cricket being played across the globe. As I mentioned earlier, people gravitate towards it because of the quick nature of the game and the level of excitement which one can enjoy that game rather than having to sit and look at 90 overs during a period of 5 days. People are entertained in a much shorter time span.
I guess it's a sheer entertainment value, and that's what people want. T20 obviously has its place. I always say T20 will be the format that will finance the other formats. Of course, you can get certain markets involved because of T20 cricket, like the American market. They like fast-paced sports. But I think, and you can see on our cam there, Ramnari Sawan, West Indies selector. Good work by our cameraman there to pick him out way on the other side of the ground. He, of course, is in the corporate box at the Trinidad Cricket Board, and Sawan is here to look at these players. He has been newly installed as a West Indies selector. You would have played against SARS.
Yes, a very talented individual, knowledgeable, very friendly, and always shares a word of advice.
So just a short break in the play. The president there himself, as Bassarat, is keeping his company, and there's social distancing. Bassarat is on one side and Sawan is on the other.
But just coming back to that point, Vinod, in relation to the comparison between T20 cricket and Test cricket, I still am of the view that Test cricket is the real fundamental part of cricket.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Because when you train towards playing Test cricket, you develop your skills holistically. To walk out into to bat in a T20 game and play a ton of shots, you would have had to have that base, the technical skill, you know how to execute a shot. And that comes with practice and something that you would probably perfect or get close to perfecting in the form of a test match.
But that one day, just to cut you, Ahmed, that was part before bat. Allowed appeal by Edwards. That one going on with the arm. Not out says the umpire. Umpire Ramdani, who is stationed at the northern end. And his good friend, umpire Rajkumar, is at square leg at this point in time. Yes, I want to agree. This one takes the edge. And he should come back for 2. And that's pushing away from the body on that occasion there, Ahmed.
Yes, again, that loose shot selection outside the off stump given a half chance. If Devon Smith was standing a foot wider, he might have been better able to catch that ball.
Well, that double brings up the 250 for TNT. They're 250 for 5. And the Silva is on 67, Hinds 20. So a nice partnership building here. And that's the second batting point for Trinidad and Tobago. They got 2 in the last match as well. And this partnership, 47 off 105. So a nice little partnership between the all-rounder, Terence Hinds, and of course the West Indies wicketkeeper batsman, Joshua Da Silva.
Joshua Da Silva really playing an important inning, both for the team and himself, as he punches this one to deep cover and takes a single.
Yeah, he's looked good, Joshua Da Silva, ever since he came in yesterday afternoon.
Really showed some application. His intent was positive from the word go, and he has continued that this morning.
Hinds can hit a long ball, and he will want to make use of this opportunity. This is an ideal opportunity for Terence Hinds to really get a big score. He's done the hard work. He's there still on 21.
This is an opportunity as well for the Windward Islands to probably create an opportunity for a wicket with the use of Edwards. Hinds, especially against Hinds, who is showing some intent to score fluently. However, the variation displayed by Edwards not really.
That was the
LBW,
during the last over.
yes.
Yes, the LBW show there, Ahmed.
Yes. From the replay here, it's showing that the ball took the inner edge before the hit in the pad.
So umpire around the yeah,
He got it right.
spot on. Back to our apple trees there on the southwestern side of the ground. You know, we've been monitoring those, and the former Trinidad and Tobago cricketer actually found himself under the trees yesterday evening, I was told, looking to see.
Do you think the apples would be ready for
This Christmas coming? So Karen Kotoy is going to take up the attack from the far end. I was very surprised that he was not used yesterday. Don't know if he was nursing a slight injury, the vice captain. Full toss, and the Silva will think that he missed out there, Ahmed.
Definitely. I'm sure he's annoyed with himself. There's a big gap just to the left of the fielder at extra cover.
And during our discussion early on, this time he pulls this one down, and the Silva is deep in his crease, protection down there. So just two looseness, so to speak. One over pitched, and then trying to overcompensate. He pitched it in too short.
Yes. Two loose balls there from Kotoy. De Silva failing to capitalize on both occasions. Follows up with a good delivery. Played out the extra cover fielder.
Yes, so the call was for Kotoy. The call was for Kotoy, and he's on the attack. And this one, a full toss, and hitting it hard, and it goes all the way for 6.
What a lovely shot there by Hinds. He really executed that over long on with maximum power to clear the ropes.
Yeah, definitely, and he is a strong guy, so those full toss would be easy for him. And that also brings up the 50-run partnership between De Silva and Hinds.
Very useful partnership indeed there. 55 of 112 deliveries. Really pushing Trinidad and Tobago towards excellent first inning total. 260 for 5 after 95 overs.
Yeah, definitely. It is something that the Red Force required after the loss of Correa. And that partnership with Correa and Salazano was really good. And then the Correa lost his wicket, and De Silva and Hinds really, Hinds looked shaky a bit initially, but he really settled into his innings, and now he's really exploding. He got the delivery, a full toss, and he put it away, and that's what he does.
I agree with you that he has that ability to execute bad deliveries, but I have a bit of concerns for some of his shot selection this morning. He offered a couple of half chances, and I think he needs to be a little more selective or proper in his execution when making an attempt to put away some of those deliveries.
Exactly. He has to be very careful in his shot selection. And that is important because Da Silva is really going good at the other end. And he needs to stay there and support him.
And the fact that Hinds is scoring freely as well is taking some of the pressure off of De Silva, allowing him to play his natural game and really settling and motor along towards having a big total for himself and put Trinidad and Tobago in a very good position at the same time.
Yes, and they talk about bowling partnership. Batting partnership is important as well. They feed off each other, they build on each other's work, and they eventually build a big partnership. And they move the total on 260 for 5. It's a really good total at the moment.
Yes, it is a very good total. I would like, however, to see a little more intent from the opposition in terms of putting some pressure on the Trinidad and Tobago batsman. Maybe alteration or some alterations in the field placement, a little more guile or effort or attempts by the bowler to induce Hinds, who's taking the chances. So that could create an opportunity, and cricket is a game of pressure.
Correct.
And at the moment, it doesn't appear that Windward Islands are consistently putting pressure on the batsman at the crease.
Yeah, it is very easy for the batsman out there at the moment. So maybe the captain, he needs to rotate his bowlers a little more. Give them probably 4 or 5 overs spell. Change up things a bit. And maybe add a little different variety for the batsman. Make it a little more difficult for them. Set out some more aggressive fields.
He also has the option of the new ball, the second new ball, which has not been exercised. And the wicket takers in this inning so far, the main wicket taker is Mr. Shamron Lewis, who picked up 3 using a fairly new ball. He was used this morning, however, without the new ball. But I think that may be a viable option at this point, having used the older ball and not extracting a lot of turn. I'm not seeing the reverse swing when he was bowling earlier, so it may be an option for the Windward Islands captain.
Yeah, excellent point. And maybe have the 2 spinners operate for a few overs, and then you can bring the fast bowlers back with the new ball.
in terms of putting pressure on the Trinidad and Tobago batsman, is incumbent that he tried to put some pressure from one end and attack on the other. If he is to make a breakthrough and try to put Trinidad and Tobago under some pressure here this morning.
Yeah, definitely.
You see Jason Mohammed there, and probably those gears belong to him. Don't think Jason stayed out there that long to sun the gears out. Good old Shadow, good friend. This time this is down the ground. That's a mighty hit. And it just drops short of the road. Just a shorthand jab down the ground there by Terry Hinds.
Powerful shot down the ground. Hinds really looking to take up the pace against Kotoy, who seems not to have his way in terms of his line, his length this morning. Second over and being knocked around a bit.
Well, I think yesterday he might have been nursing a little niggle, knowing that as the game progresses he will feel a lot better. This is why he was not used. So it'll take a little time, Kotoy, to get things going. In the interim, the Silva and Hinds will be looking to prosper.
I would look to capitalize as well, especially when a bowler is not at his best and he is inconsistent with his deliveries. As a batsman, I would definitely look to capitalize and raise the scoring rate.
A full toss. Silva not really getting hold of it, but they've recorded a 50-run stand here for the 6th wicket. Partnership 63 of 123 balls, which means, Ahmed, that they would have shown some sort of discretion as well.
Yes, there has been some discussion. Joshua has really batted with some maturity this morning. He hasn't pushed the scoring rate as he did when he first came to the crease yesterday. But I think that he has been afforded that luxury as Hinds has taken up the slack and trying to score runs more freely.
Hinds showing some restraint there now. Very talented player, Terrence Hinds. I always say this. Good all-rounder coming in the mix here for Trinidad and Tobago. He's very good friends with Sunil Philip Narayan. It's the end of the over, the end of it, 268 for 5. I just want to take you back a bit, Amit, to the Dusra. Because as a journalist covering the cricket all those years, I think you were the first one to introduce the Dusra in this part of the world.
To my knowledge, I think I was. I stand to be corrected. It is a delivery that I developed from playing the in-house game of one bounce. Familiar with that game? Yes. So where you just sit or stand and flick the ball with your fingers. And my thoughts were, how can I put this into a bowling action coming off a run-up, pitching it 20, 22 yards away?
That must have taken some practice.
It did, because it's a unnatural kind of feeling to execute that ball or have that ball spin from the front of your fingers to go the other direction, and to actually put it into a off-spinning bowling action was something that you really needed to practice. So there was a lot of hard work in getting that delivery to be used in my arsenal.
And you did use it effectively, 263 wickets for Trinidad and Tobago. Of course, you were able to go to the higher level and play as well. A number of off spinners, though, Amit, they normally run afoul of the law in trying to execute that Dusra. And I remember having a discussion with Shane Shillingford, one of your contemporaries, and he was telling me when he was called for throwing, he said that he was cleared, but not for the delivery leaving the batsman, which means in an effort to get that Dusra going, he was called. What's your thinking behind it? What's your thought process behind?
in trying to use that ball in my arsenal, I would have employed different methods in trying to get it for 20 yards or 22 yards, pitching towards the batsman. And the biomechanics of it is such that for that ball to be pitched properly at the regular pace at which you would bowl a normal off break, it is extremely difficult coming from the front of the hand. So most of the other off spinners who would have tried to bowl the doosra would have maybe tried to use that extra force, and that extra force would be generated by the use of your elbow. So it may have caused suspicion as to whether the ball being a legitimate delivery. I, however, chose not to use the extra force as the method by which I got the ball to pitch on a proper length. I took the option of using flight and spin. So finger position, the revs on the ball will get the ball through the air on the proper length. It may not be as quick as I would have liked, but it was very effective on many occasions.
Well, I guess that is what kept you within the laws, because from my recollection, you were never questioned in terms of your action. Hinds, I think, will be disappointed on that occasion. It was short and wide, and he did not take full use of it.
Yes, as you rightly put it, I was never questioned in terms of my action or the legitimacy of any of the deliveries bowled during my career. Very grateful for that. And this one is short, and the Silva pulls it out to the mid-wicket boundary where the fielder picks it up, gets it in. The Silva scores a single.
So let's see how Hinds goes. I think Hinds will want to get after Kotoy here. So he's back and plays it off a thick outside edge. Slow turn. So he was able to negotiate that properly, Hinds. And the runs continue to come here for TNT.
Yes, TNT moving to 274 for 5. Hinds 37. De Silva 73. Partnership now at 70 of 138 balls. Kotoy none for 20. This his third over. Again, another short delivery. Hinds cuts towards the cover boundary for a single.
So it's the end of the over. At the end of the over, we take a short break here at the Brown Lar Cricket Academy. We'll be back with you. Hinds continues. He has really forged an excellent partnership here with De Silva, two Queen's Park boys. I find myself saying that throughout the game, that Queen's Park boys have to get out there, Amit. You're a old Parkite yourself.
Yes, Queen's Park does have a lovely thing going where they attract a lot of young players who are willing to work hard, and having so many on the national team shows that what they're doing is delivering the results as they would like.
I want to say good morning to Jeffrey Gillen, a very good friend of mine and a man who has supported cricket tremendously. You will well remember the Noel Gillen on the 21. Did you play in that tournament as a youth coming up?
No, I haven't had the opportunity to play in that tournament, However, my last 6 seasons at the National League level was at Queen's Park, where
You would have dealt with good old Jeffrey.
yes, he was the manager of the team at the time.
What sort of manager he is?
A very carefree guy. You know, he's very interested in the cricket. He would always come and offer some advice as to what he thinks should be done. However, at Queen's Park, he didn't have much to really manage. There were a lot of guys who were known for their ability to self.
Well, the Silva could be in trouble. He's
Oh,
out
that's
court.
excellent catch.
Against the run of play, really. Everything this morning was looking so easy on the ice of Trinidad and Tobago that the Silva went to play a slog sweep. It took the edge and it actually went high in the air, and he was caught at deep mid-on.
Excellent catch, running back. Away, ball going away from the fielder. From short mid wicket, running into the vacant space between what you would call deep mid wicket and long on. Excellent catch. De Silva must be disappointed with himself.
Yes, look at it. It was only of something away from him, and a very good catch. That's a catch that's worth the price of admission here. And at that point, De Silva leaves for 73 of 140 deliveries. He will be disappointed. And if you see Josh, I think it's an hour's play as well. They're going to take the break, but a disappointed man as he walks off there, Josh De Silva. And he has done a good job for Trinidad and Tobago. And we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll continue the action here at the at the Brown Lara Cricket Academy.
Welcome back to the Brian Lara Cricket Academy. It is continued coverage here of this round 2 match. West Indies Championship, TNT Red Force being sent into bat. They have now progressed to 276 for 6. But just before the break, we saw the dismissal of Joshua De Silva out for 73. Here is the man to continue, Kieron Kotoy, his first spell of the competition here for the Windward Islands Volcanoes. He's gone for another big hit here, Terence Hinds, and every time he swings at it, there's anticipation, sense of anticipation, long on, long off in place. There's also a deep mid-wicket in place. Anil Lakan, unfortunate for the Silva, going short of 100, 27 short of 100 there.
Yeah, hitting across the line on that occasion from the left-arm orthodox spinner, and he only succeeded in spooning that ball midway into that mid-wicket region. I'm sure he would be a very disappointed young man at this time.
He had to pull out of that delivery. Also a very good catch by the skipper, Kivim Hodge, 28-year-old from Dominica. Ran back well and took an excellent catch with the ball coming over his shoulder. What was that? Good bit of fielding though. Hinds is very quick and he got there. But that looked more like a flying saucer. It was an old-fashioned donkey drop, they used to call that.
He could have hit that anywhere he chooses. But looking at the field for Terence Hinds video, there is 5 men patrolling the boundary, and that says that they know that he is going to take the bowling on.
And he has. He has been taking the bowling on in this short innings. That's on drive there from the new man, Brian Charles, facing his first delivery. And Charles 277. It's 277 for 6 now. And what was interesting was that these two actually were involved in a big partnership in the last competition. Another no ball here. It's the second one. And there's been a fair amount of indiscipline already for the morning from the Windward Islands bowlers. That's the second no ball I make it from Kotoy. There's also been 2 no balls for Sherman Lewis this morning. Pulls that away, Charles, and will pick up a single. He's off the mark. And these two were involved in Hinds and Charles, that is, in a 122-run partnership. That was Trinidad and Tobago versus the Leeward Islands. And that was a match in which Terence Hinds got his maiden first-class 100. 102 not out, he got in that game. January 2020, Terence Hinds. Some mind games taking place here. So the bowler pulled away once or twice, and then Charles decided to pull away. So they're having a little some mind games going on there. Hinds, in fact, yeah, pulled away also. So they're trying to outwit each other here. Who's going to blink first? And again, here we go. So he's trying to play on the mind of Hinds here. You know that Hinds wants to get after him. And there's a very stiff breeze coming across the ground. And one of the things you're seeing are just some debris flying across the pitch. But I don't think that's the reason why they're pulling away now. Let's see who's going to pull away first here. Okay, finally we get a ball. First time in an hour, I estimate. End of the over, though. 102 overs gone. 279 for 6.
And the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force think tank would really want Terence Hinds and Brian Charles to take this score beyond that 300 mark video, because it seems clearly that this track has set along tremendously. It looks, in my estimation, a really good batting track at this time. So a formidable score is what is required from the TNT Red Force.
Very breezy day, bright and sunny. That's a picture there of the eastern side of the ground, open area, and so often the bowlers like to use that side of the ground to accentuate their drift that they get. Now, Edwards, as the left-arm orthodox spinner, he's turning the ball away from the right-hander. Here's a situation where he can get the ball to drift in to the right-hander before turning away. So it's the proper end for him to bowl. And he got an early birthday present, I see. And wicket of Joshua De Silva. He's celebrating his 27th birthday today, Larry Edward. And I'm sure he would have enjoyed that early birthday present.
He definitely would have enjoyed that early birthday present. And this wicket this morning has taken him beyond that 50 wicket mark. This is his 51st wicket at the first class level video.
Yeah, it certainly is. And he's been taking his wickets at just about 31.5 per wicket. Had a good game against Ghana, also took some wickets there, 3 wickets in the second innings, got 43. Former St. Lucia and Windward Islands youth captain he is.
But we are seeing some proactive fielding placements from Kevin Hodge at this time. That sweeper on the cover boundary is now into that ring of fielders.
He's listening to you, Anil. I think he has maybe a little implant there, just listening to your comments. He's decided to bring that man in and apply the pressure here to the new batsman, Charles. And now we're seeing some more pressure being added. Well, at least we thought we did. There was the fielder at that deep mid-wicket position. I thought they were bringing him into the circle. They've now put in that silly mid-off in place. Edged and past the slip, and it's going to run away for 4. Big flashing blade there from Brian Charles, and not much that Devon Smith could have done about that. It flew past him, and it would have been a comfortable catch for the second slip.
So on this occasion, Brian Charles really throwing the kitchen sink at this delivery.
Yeah, that's Devon Smith, and that's what he was saying, is that that's where the ball went, in that second slip position. And here it is once again.
And goes in. And Brian Charles threw the kitchen sink at the Swan, and it sped past that first slip region. If there was a goal in position video, he would definitely have been in business.
Yeah, he certainly would have. Now, he's a little bit wider now, Devon Smith. And you're seeing the ball just a little bit of drift in from for Larry Edward. But the horse has already bolted. Smith a little bit wider that time. Over comes to an end. 103 overs, 283 for 6. There is Kashif Sandhi, who is the reserve umpire for today, and some of the medical staff. And the gentleman at the back carrying the stethoscope. I'm not sure if he's had to attend to anyone. Mr. Sandhi looks okay, though.
So we are seeing...
I hope he's not coming to check your heart, Anil. I think your heart is good for this one.
Yeah, it is. But we are seeing evidence of some side spin now from Larry Edwards' video.
Yeah, he is getting the ball to turn, and you have identified off the air that seems to be a bit more turn. The sun baking this pitch a little bit more. We saw that yesterday also. It turned a bit after the morning sun. And let's see if Kotoy can extract some turn with his leg breaks. Cutting at that one, and not short enough, and perhaps not wide enough outside the off stump for that shot.
Very naughty indeed from Terence Hinds. That was definitely too close for him to be cutting.
Very close to a second batting point here, a batting point at least for the TNT team. Remember, it has to be before 110 to get that 300. And I think they should comfortably get there. TNT have not crossed 300 for the season yet. Bishop moves across smartly, making his full debut for the Windward Islands. Teddy Bishop, he did come on as a concussion substitute in the last game. So he will be batting with Devon Smith sometime today, I would imagine, unless these two can produce a double century partnership of some sort.
So what a momentous occasion for this young man in Teddy Bishop.
Yeah, We were pointing that out in the last game, that he opened the batting with Devon Smith in the second innings for the Windward Islands. And he was born back in January 2003, Teddy Bishop. And Devon Smith, who is fielding at slip, actually made his debut for the West Indies in March 2003. So Teddy Bishop was 2 months old when Devon Smith, his opening partner, made his debut for the West Indies.
What an occasion. And is eased away down to that fine leg region. They're going to come back for two comfortably on this occasion. So Terence Hinds just tickling this away onto the fine leg region for 2 runs.
And that is the end of the over, at the end of 104 overs. Just keeping you track because that 110 mark is important. 287 for 6. And just a little debate going on behind me by these cricketing brains, these cricketing badgers that we have in here about millennials. Teddy Bishop is one of the millennials who's played first-class cricket. The other, of course, would be Jaden Seals. Jaden Seals, of course, I think is born in after the year 2000. Yeah, Jaden Seals, he would be the other millennial who has played first-class cricket. And yeah, we are that old, aren't we, Anil? We're seeing players born after the year 2000 playing first-class cricket now. So apparently we're getting on in age here.
We definitely are getting on in age. Video.
Well, I think somebody said at the back of the booth here, Anil, speak for yourself, sir. So Larry Edwards, who is not a millennial by any means, he's 27 today. I'm sure his family would be celebrating with him, and of course getting the big wicket of Joshua De Silva here, real feather in his cap. Yeah, he's just every now and again, he's going to tempt the batsman with that one wide outside the off stump. Perhaps to Terence Hinds, that would be a delivery that he would go after. And we saw Charles go after one similar to that in the last over.
Yeah, we are seeing that Edwards is not afraid to throw the ball above the eye line of the batters. But neatly into line is Brian Charles on this occasion and just taps it out to that a short mid-off position.
So that's what he's been doing all the way through the season, just allowing the pitch to do its work. Not a lot of turn on that one. A bit faster through the air. Varies his pace nicely. He hasn't been able to entice Charles to go into another one of those big drives that he would have tried. A little bit of a change in the field, as you can see there from the last over. That silly mid-off in place. Also, Smith has gone a little bit wider, as we mentioned, in the last over for that big edge. And we've seen one or two of those edges go past through vacant positions on the field for the Windward Islands. Yeah, there's the delivery again outside the off stump, hoping that he would bite, but he does not. He declines the offer to fish this time, Charles, and the over comes to net, 287 for 6.
So I'm sure the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force think tank video will want these guys to continue to that 300 mark to attain that second batting point. And I think that's the focus going forward in this passage of play, during this passage of play.
Yeah, they haven't gone hell for leather after it. There's still a lot of time here. And here is the Windward Islands bowling figures. 3 wickets for Sherman Lewis. That was during that period yesterday. A wicket apiece for John, Demba, and Edwards. We haven't seen John for the day yet. Ryan John. Karen Katoy has come in also. 5 overs already. That one kept a little bit low, but that should be 2 here. And they've only run 1. That's very poor running indeed from these two. There should have been 2. The fielder had a long way to go towards his left, Kenneth Demba, and there should have been 2 on.
Yeah, poor running on this occasion. You need to really implement aggression in your running.
It's all a part of putting the pressure on the fielding team, keeping the fielders honest. Has been a good effort by the Windward Islands team in terms of their fielding. Another full toss that has been pulled away, and that will not go to the boundary. And that's the second time that we've seen one slip out of the hands of Kotoy. And tell you what, that was very close. It's not a beamer by any means. He's not a fast bowler, but certainly was nowhere near to the pitch.
It just seems that on occasions that Kotoy is not really gripping the ball properly.
Maybe a bit too lightly on those two occasions, and maybe a bit too heavy on that last delivery. Wide and outside the off stump and easily cut away. And Terence Hinds not using that front foot very much except for balance. But when he does hit it, he hits it very hard. He's creeping up towards the 50, Terence Hinds. Oh, and they're at it again, aren't they? Pulls out again.
A lot of
This
mind
time to
games.
Charles, yeah.
A lot of mind games going on.
Strikes him on the pad, but there may have been some contact there. And immediately the bowler stifles the appeal. In fact, he's bowled him. It's gone straight through him. For a moment there, I didn't see it, but it's gone straight through Brian Charles. Faster delivery there by the bowler, and he has lost his off stump, it looks like. And Brian Charles has gone for 7. Wicket here again for the Windward Islands Volcanoes, with the keeper standing right in front of the stumps here. Didn't see that, but yeah, they've taken the wicket. It's 7 down, and Charles is out for 7.
Yeah, the googly on this occasion from Kotoy that spins back between the bat and pad and cannons into the sticks on this occasion. But good little partnership between Brian Charles and Terence Hinds on this occasion.
Celebration for the Windward Islands, so 2 wickets falling in quick succession here. And Kotoy, the man at the center of the picture, and here it is. The keeper's just behind the stumps there, and he makes a movement in. And there it was. Difficult to see from this angle, but and the way he played the shot after, it looked like though he was there. But that's not the right shot he was rehearsing. He really should have come forward to that one. On this pitch, you really have to get forward to it. Kotoy, who had slipped one, he had one that was a full toss earlier, another one wide outside the off stump, but when he got it on target, good delivery, picked up the wicket.
Kotoy definitely has the ability to produce wicket-taking deliveries, as demonstrated on this occasion video.
Well, several of personnel who've come in and out who have seen Kotoy bowl they were a bit surprised that he hasn't bowled before in this competition. Didn't bowl at all against Guyana, perhaps with the number of left-handers in that Guyana team. 6 in all, if I remember correctly. 5 at the top, and then Moti at the end. So 6 in all. That's one of the reasons why he didn't bowl. So he's here now, and he's taken the wicket.
And it must have been as well a video that Kotoy possibly is just lacking that bit of match practice as well out in the middle.
Yeah, he hasn't bowled a lot. He has been bowling a lot in practice. I saw him before the matches in against that Guyana Harpy Eagles team. Bowled a lot before, but wasn't called upon. And when he has been called upon here, he has taken a wicket now. More right-handers in this Trinidad and Tobago team, including Philip, who's in. And he gets a nice juicy full toss. Well, don't you just love that when you're a batsman, you now come in, the team's under pressure, and you get a nice full toss to push away.
What a way to get off the mark. A freebie, as we would refer to it.
A freebie to end all freebies. And there's a saying here in Trinidad, if you don't know, Trinidadian loves a free thing. So certainly got an easy one. 106 overs gone in the innings. TNT Red Force are 291 for 7. So what happens now? Now we did see, just to remind you, that Imran Khan, the Trinidad and Tobago captain, went off yesterday with what seemed to be a hamstring injury. Interestingly, during the run-up, the warm-up, in fact, before the game, he did not participate at all in the warm-up. I saw him go back to the dressing room. So I suspect that Trinidad and Tobago are going to bat with 10 batsmen here. I don't think Khan is going to come back out, because that may do a bit more damage to Khan. Not exactly a spring chicken anymore is Imran Khan, 37 now. the leg spinner for TNT.
So that's definitely going to be a big blow.
Anderson Phillip, another one of these Trinidad and Tobago players in the running perhaps for a place in the test team, and got a 5-wicket haul in the last game. I'm sure he will be fancying his chances of getting a test call.
Well, having had a really brilliant spell in the last game where he picked up 8 wickets in both innings, and he was not out in the first innings on 21. It surely states.
So more runs here. It's at least 2. This may run away to the boundary. It's enough pace on it, and it gets there. Down the leg side, and the signal is run. So yes, he did get a touch onto it. So just flicked it away, just the merest of touches, and picks up a boundary.
So the old-fashioned video leg glance on this occasion was well executed.
Yeah, a little leg glance there. Sure that man Ranjit Singh would have been proud of that. Former England player, of course, a man from India, of course, played for England. He was credited as the originator of that leg glance. Nicely played there. A throwback from a throwback shot, some call it, from Phillip. So Phillip, as you pointed out, maybe establishing his credentials perhaps as an all-rounder. Had a good innings in that last game. A good chance for him here also.
And Anderson Phillip is an honest cricketer. He works tirelessly at his trade.
Are you suggesting they are dishonest cricketers?
No, not indeed.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. Oh, he drives that one. Oh, how did that ball get through the gap? I'm sure that one must have been very close to 2 fielders. There's a fielder close in at that silly mid-off position. There's also a very short extra cover in place, and it went between both of them and went for a single. So Phillip survives 296 for 7.
So on this occasion, looking to drive through the cover region.
So Trinidad and Tobago closing in on another batting point here, 296 for 7. And they have to get it before that 110 over mark. And all of this part of the changes that would have been introduced by Cricket West Indies. It's about 6 seasons or so now. And several of those changes meant to implement perhaps faster scoring rates. Another full toss here from Kotoy. And that was to Phillip, and he just pushed it away to get a single. One or two of those changes, perhaps one of them, the introduction of points for fast bowlers getting wickets. Some suggesting there were 1 or 2 spin bowlers around who suggesting that may have been unfair to some of the spinners.
Well, I think it's definitely unfair to the spinners, Vidya, because spinners do play an integral part in the test and ODI setup in first-class cricket. So it perplexed me in the sense that you're encouraging young fast bowlers, but yet still we are not able to produce world-class spinners because there is no incentive to do so.
That's a short delivery, and that one is tugged away. Short of the fielder, though. I don't think it was set up exactly as a disincentive to spinners, but more to encourage an incentive for teams to produce more fast bowlers. Fast bowlers, of course, would have been the backbone of West Indies' success during the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and a little bit beyond that. And perhaps part of the decline of West Indies cricket after 1995, some say just before that, is not producing those quality fast bowlers quite as we did with the quantity during those halcyon days in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. It's making it look very easy here, Phillip, but he has been aided by some rather wayward bowling from Kotoy, who has produced 1 delivery which was on the stumps, and he got the wicket, but some of the rest of them, he's been all over the shop here.
Yeah, and it identifies that he is. He is struggling at this time with his control video.
Well, perhaps that's why we didn't see him too much bowl at all in that first game. Yeah, he is struggling with his control. Not the easiest of arts. Wrist spin. Onto the back foot, and Hinds is nearing another 50 here, which would be his second first-class 50. TNT just a run away now, getting that batting point, 299 for 7. There's the big scoreboard on the eastern side of the ground. Phillip already on 8, 46. And you can see their current run rate, 2.77. They just hovered around that 3 run and over mark.
But I must admit, it's been very tough work for the bowlers on this track. It doesn't seem to be much help at all.
Yeah, you're not getting too much assistance. As you described it, a generous tinge of green on the pitch.
And this morning, while the warm-up was going on, they seemed to have shaved some grass off the surface as well. A video.
Yeah, they did, in fact. Specialized machinery to do that for the low grass. And perhaps a type of machinery that you see on a golf course also, that very low roller mower, which can cut off the grass that has grown up overnight or during the last day. Wonder if they borrowed it from, they would have their own equipment, but could have been easily seen equipment like that. One of the lovely golf courses here in Trinidad and Tobago at Millennium Lakes or St. Andrews or Chagaramas Golf Course or so. And of course, one of my favorites, Brecon Castle. It's also Eugene, not far from here. One of our members of our team here. He's been coaching in that area, I understand, recently.
But that machine that's used for shaving the grass off the pitch, a video, you know, it's a accurate machine because it just takes off the amount that's required to be taken off. It's a precision machine.
Yeah, it certainly is. Nice looking on drive here from Phillip. Only going to be 1 though. And there is the applause is because that is the batting point. 300 runs coming up before the 110 over mark, and according to the rules, that's of course the batting point. So 3 points added here by TNT, and there was a ripple of applause below us from the TNT bench.
And I'm sure that ripple was not only for the 300 mark, but it also ticked that batting in terms of what they would want to achieve as a batting unit.
Certainly, and that brings us to the end of the over. 109 overs. They brought it up with just an over to go. 300 for 7 TNT, and let's bring back in Vinod Mamchan and Amit Jagannath, and they are armed with their coffee already. It's a bit too early for that, Vinod.
Welcome back as we continue coverage of this match at the Brownlow Cricket Academy between the Red Force and the Windwards. Good delivery there, but a no ball. Ryan John just beating the outside edge of a tentative bat offered by Phillip. Hinds is on 46 and he has faced 92 deliveries, 301. So Trinidad and Tobago Amit getting the batting point with an over to spare.
Yes, indeed. 301 for 7. Trinidad and Tobago camp would be very happy with the score at this point. Be looking to push to get maximize the number of runs on the board so that they could probably have an opportunity just to bat once and dismiss or enforce the follow-on if the case is, if situation presents itself.
Well, the follow-on in regional first-class cricket is 150. And outside the off stump and well left. A better delivery, a little closer, but you'll want to come just that tad bit closer to the right-hander, Philip, who takes a lot of pride in his batting. I've noticed that.
Yes, Trinidad and Tobago would like to see themselves pushing the score a little further on, and then bowlers probably mentally preparing themselves as to the method in which they're going to try to take 20 wickets and finish with another win.
John. This time closer to the batsman, played right back. Shouts of shadow downstairs. I don't think the shadows are lengthening. We've had an hour and a half or so of play this morning. The conditions continue to be fine.
I'm sure the skipper for the Windward Islands would be trying to implement a method into as to how to take these last 3 wickets.
Well played there on that occasion. That came back in sharply, and Philip was able to get inside the line. He's already into double figures, Philip. And Hinds is on 46. So Hinds will look to shepherd the tail, if there is a tail. I like to say lower order batsmen because these guys take a lot of pride. You enjoyed that, Amit.
I was now going to interrupt you there, Vinod. Tailenders is a term of the past. It should now be lower order batsmen, because you would find, and I could attest to this, I would have put a price on my wicket, try to spend time at the crease, try to score some runs, establish myself as a lower order batsman. I'm sure there are many other bowlers who think in a similar fashion.
Yeah, I want to agree with that. I mean, I would have liked to have spent time at the crease, but I was never invited. 302 for 7. Hinds on 46. Looking to get up to that half century. Terence Hinds is as good as this. He has a first-class century for Trinidad and Tobago already.
Understand he has a 50 as well.
Yes,
so he would be looking to score his second first-class 50.
Forward. Works very hard at his game. He works a lot with Vishwanath Sinath from Sinath's Auto. He has the facility up at the Bamboo. And these guys, a number of these guys work in that area with him. And Sinath is also constructing the first indoor nets with a turf pitch. That's under construction. And the way he's doing it, when there's, and that's a naughty shot there. And the way he's constructing that, Amit, is that the top will be open at certain times to allow the elements in, and for, of course, the growth of grass and stuff on the turf, and then it'll be closed off for these guys to train. Jed Gooley is there, as well as Yannick Karaya, Kirsten Kalicharan, young Andrew Rambaran. These are the guys who normally operate there.
That sounds like an excellent idea. I would like to see it in real if and when it's completed. I'm sure the players would be looking forward. It would provide an opportunity to have consistent practice.
Well, a new ball is being taken. Good shot there by our cameraman, and Ronnie was showing us there the replay of the last delivery of the over, and Hinds was looking to play down one line. The ball was in the other. Hinds was actually coming down south on the Churchill Roosevelt Highway, and the ball was going up on the northbound.
Yes, Maxwell into the attack with the new ball. With his left arm in swingers to the right hander. he would be looking to make an impact on the slow order. They'd be hoping that the new ball brings some new fortune.
We were speaking about the last bit of action in the last over where Hinds was looking to go downtown. Take it down, it.
Yes, the ball just nipping away, a little movement away from the right-handed batsman. Hinds playing down the wrong line. His intent to hit a lofty drive over the bowler.
This time he struck on the party's out leg before. I don't think that was hard for umpire Ramdani to adjudge. And he's out leg before.
Just as I mentioned, left arm in swing. Ball hitting in front, no shot offered. Very casual from Philip. Should have at least come down with his bat there. Make an attempt to play the ball. Good start from Maxwell.
Anderson Phillip leaves. I'm sure he'll be disappointed. This young man takes his batting very seriously. And the other young man who will be coming out is another one who takes his batting seriously as well. And that's Jaden Seals. I don't know if Imran Khan is available to come out. If he can, well, then Hinds will have two.
And here's the replay, Vinod.
Definitely no doubt about that.
Plum LBW. No shot offered. Ball pitching on or around middle and off stump. Now the captain Imran Khan makes his way to the crease after having pulled up with a hamstring injury yesterday.
He's walking gingerly. Look at him.
Yes, you can see a slight limp, for want of a better word, in his step.
He's walking gingerly to the crease, probably just to offer some resistance to give Hinds the opportunity to see how far along he can go. Here's another idea now. What would that mean? Would that mean that Hinds has to attack now? Because I can't envisage Imran taking a sharp single.
I was not going to address that issue, Vinod. Imran, I would think, would hold an end and probably offer an opportunity for Hinds to push the scoring rate, because running between the wickets would be a challenge, and it will definitely create an opportunity here for Hinds to score some quick runs, especially with a hard new ball.
He's taking a middle stump guard. With the hardness of the ball, the newness of the ball, it will present opportunities to score runs as well. Hinds will get the ball coming onto him a little quicker. He would love that. And he will definitely play shots here. This is going to be a very interesting passage of play as we continue our coverage here at the Brownlow Cricket Academy. It's a lovely day on the outside, a very stiff wind blowing from the east. That's not a sort of delivery you want first up with an injury, and he keeps it out, Imran.
A very good attempt at the Yorker there. Imran just falling over, causing him to have some movement, which may have caused some irritation to that hamstring. However, he was very successful in keeping it out.
So number 14 on his back, 14 in the playway here in Trinidad, I believe is Money. Down the leg side, well, he was not on the money there. By Ramdani, not interested.
Quite happy with the length that Maxwell started with. He's pitching the ball up, giving it an opportunity to swing. Just on this last occasion here, his direction a little bit down the leg side. Imran, he appears to be fairly confident in his approach. Of course, he will be concerned about his level of movement. I'm sure that he will be looking to stick around as long as possible and give Hinds the opportunity to score.
I think Trinidad and Tobago wants as much as they could get in this first innings to put the Windwards under pressure, and I take what you say. Ideally, they would like to restrict the Windwards to such a score that they can enforce a follow-on and put them under some heavy pressure.
the track being appears to be a easy batting track. There isn't much on offer for the bowlers, so it's imperative that Trinidad and Tobago get as many runs on the board as possible. This would allow the TNT bowlers a little flexibility in terms of the attack or the length of time in which they maintain an attack, because as a bowler I can tell you, when you're attacking you can go for some runs.
Definitely. This is why leg spinners normally go for much more than the off spinners.
Yes, because the level of control a leg spinner has as opposed to finger spinner of off break bowler or left arm orthodox. It requires a lot more control and allows the batsman to score a little freely off of those wrist spinners.
But the leg spinner might be the more likely man to give you that breakthrough. Well played by Hinds. That's a beautiful defensive shot if there ever was any. And it's played back along the track. We have come to the end of the over. We take a short break. When we come back, we continue the coverage. I want to say a quick single there, but Imran hobbles to the other end.
I'm concerned, Vinod. Imran being the new batsman at the crease, haven't spent much time at the middle, and it appears that the Windward Islands have given him an easy single with a point on the boundary.
Yeah, I can't understand that.
I would have attacked the new batsman because he hasn't had a feel for the track. He isn't sure what the ball is doing.
I can understand the fielder being out there, and he comes into operation now with Hinds on strike, but not with Khan. You want to put Khan under some pressure. You want to lock off the singles, let the frustration grow.
Because if the intention is for Imran Khan to hold an end down, I mean, when I say hold an end down, he can bat. He's a top order batsman. But I mean, given the situation where he's nursing that injury and he may not look for quick runs, he would look to anchor himself. I would like to keep him on strike, so the scoring rate will plummet a bit.
Yeah, and you want to bowl a fourth stump line to him just back of a length. You want to try pitching up at times. I think more often than not, you want to pitch up to him because his mobility is limited. You want him driving without being in line, without being to the pitch of it. And with John taking the ball away from him, that could create some problems.
Yes, you would like him to stretch those legs, put that muscle under some pressure. He has a tendency to nick the ball. So
I think that one comes in and hits him somewhere close to the midsection, and you would not like that. Imran reminds me so much of you. You started your career at Presentation College as a batsman and ended up being a top off spinner. He started as a batsman as well, and he ended up being a top leg spinner.
He was an excellent opening batsman in his younger days. I still believe that Imran has immense ability with the bat. He has showed glimpses of that in the past.
Yeah, he has first class centuries to tell.
But as you stated, he really developed his bowling skills and honed that, and it has proved successful for him over the years. 400 plus first class wickets.
427, 421 in regional tournaments, and 6 playing for the West Indies A team. Your good friend right next to you is reminding me that every time I mention Presentation College, I must mention the area. So I will stand corrected. Presentation. Ahmed Jagannat went to Presentation College, Shogunas. It's the end of the over.
As Maxwell makes his way into Hinds, this could be very interesting. The shout for caught behind, ball moving away from the right-handed Maxwell.
Well, I don't think that McSween initially was interested in that. And it seems as if the wicketkeeper was the only one interested in it. McSween took so long to essay an appeal to the umpire that the wicketkeeper had enough time to send him a WhatsApp and to tell him, look, appeal.
I must say that ball had a little more bounce as anticipated, but again, it's a harder new ball, so maybe that is what has been on offer here at this time. Lovely shot there by Hinds on the front foot through the cover region, beating the fielder for 4.
He's a proper
Excellent.
batsman. Proper batsman.
Excellent shot.
Terence Hinds. And
Maxwell just over pitching there, Vinod. Looking for swing.
Brings up his half century. Good old Terence Hinds, reaching his half century of 100 deliveries. Well, it has grown a bit slightly gloomy. I don't know if it's rain coming. Ronnie has gone to check for the rain. No rain, it's a Sahara dust. So it's here with us again.
Sometimes we live in Vinod. Long time.
Yep.
I have never seen Sahara dust look like rain clouds.
Yeah, it's pretty gloomy, as you can see from that shot. Imagine that on a day where half of the ground is bathed in sunshine and blue skies, the other half you have Saharan dust. Normally you would run to your clothesline and pick up your clothes when you see the sky looking like that. Now you may pick up your clothes for a different reason. You don't want dust on it.
There's a replay of that excellent cover drive.
Shots like that, if we could get that once again, shots like that from Terence Hinds. I mean, it's really, really a top-class shot. Just getting over the ball, driving at left foot right in line and to the pitch, driving through the offside. A wonderful half-century there by Terence Hinds. A great addition to this TNT team. And he's the proper all-rounder on the side. Imran himself is an all-rounder. So that playing inside the line there.
I think he was just beaten a bit with the angle. Probably expecting the ball to in-swing a bit.
That's a shot we were speaking about, just pushing through the covers. You know, when I see a shot like that, Amit, I normally leave the arena, I pay and come back in.
Yeah, it deserves that action, eh?
Yes, it deserves that. It's getting increasingly gloomy on the east of us. It's really getting bad in that area. Sammy's
swinging hard outside the off stump. The ball taking edge, a thick outside edge, over the cordon into the third man boundary for 4.
So it brings the over to an end. It's 313 for 8. And you were saying, Ahmed, that this is going to be a very interesting over because Hinds is going to play shots. And play shots is exactly what he did. I think Trinidad and Tobago ideally will want to get up to about 350 here. If we could look at the scorecard, Jeremy Solozano caught Bishop Bowl Denver 66. Simmons was scored by Athenaeus of Lewis for 8. Isaiah Raja, LBW Lewis without scoring. Jason Mohammed caught Smith Bowl Lewis without scoring. Yannick Correa, LBW to John for 72. Joshua Da Silva caught Hodge Bowl Edwards 73. Imran Khan not out 3. Terrence Hinds, he's 55. Brian Charles was bowled by Kotori for 7, and Anderson Phillip, LBW to McSween for 10. Imran, just to let our viewers know, remember he started his innings and he retired hurt. He's now back out there. He's facing John.
Interesting scorecard, Vinod. 4 half centuries, none converted to a century in this game. A little bit disappointed with that. Happy with the score. However, you would have liked to see at least 1 or 2 of those batsmen carry on to achieve that milestone.
Yeah, definitely. I think Coach Furlong will have a say in that. I don't think he'll be very happy with the fact that these guys are not carrying on. Carrying on has been the issue in Trinidad and Tobago cricket. But it's good to see at least these guys are reaching a half century. It's a lovely shot by an injured Imran Khan. Down the ground for 4. And actually the rain has now made an appearance here at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy. And the players are going to run off. And the ground staff were not in a position to pull the covers onto the playing area. You can't fault them on this occasion. I think the Sahara dust actually got to them. It played a trick on them. They were thinking it's the Sahara dust. It is still the Sahara dust is hanging about, but the rain was able to sneak in just somewhere about. That was the shot by Imran. Just leaning it nicely, nice high elbows and down the ground for 4. It's 317 for 8, and the rain has actually subsided. Probably it's a good time to take a short break and come back. They may well take lunch at this point in time because with just 4 minutes to go. I definitely think they are going to take an early lunch. And just to review the morning period, Amit, Trinidad and Tobago still holding sway, you think?
Yes, Trinidad and Tobago in a much better position, a position of strength. 317 for 8 with the skipper, the crease, and set Terrence Hinds on 55. I'm sure they will be looking to get close to that 350 or beyond, which would put them in an excellent position to take command of this game.
Well, at the break, Imran Khan is not out on 7 and Terrence Hinds 55. If we can just go through the bowling figures for you. And the ground staff not really pulling off the covers over the pitch because of the fact that the rain has subsided. McSween, 22 overs, 1 for 78. He had the new ball. He got the last wicket. Sherman Lewis, 20 overs, 3 for 41. John, 1 for 49. Demba, 1 for 55. Edwards, 1 for 51. And Karen Kotoy, 1 for 35. At this point in time, lunch on day 2, 317 for 8, the TNT Red Force. We take a short break. We rejoin you in about 35 minutes or so.
Good afternoon and welcome back to the Brian Lara Cricket Academy here in southern Trinidad for the continuation of commentary on the second day of this round 2 match, West Indies Championship. It's between the TNT Red Force and the Windward Islands Volcanoes. At lunch, Trinidad and Tobago 317 for 8. Terence Hinds on 7. Terence Hinds on 55, and Imran Khan, who's returned to the crease, he is on 7 of 12 deliveries. Vidya Rampal alongside Visham Lalman here. And Visham, this has been a situation. Welcome, of course, you've joined us today. Situation where Trinidad and Tobago Red Force have picked up another point after going past 300. A good situation for them here to push on in the afternoon session.
Yeah, an excellent fight back by Trinidad and Tobago Red Force yesterday into today. And, of course, Windward Island Volcanoes coming back well, picking up 3 wickets this morning as well. So they will be happy. They'll be a happy camp as well. Yeah,
they certainly will be. TNT resuming earlier today at 217 for 5. So 3 wickets going down. Here's the first ball after lunch. Oh, that one rose and it's hit Khan here on the gloves here. And Khan, who's already had a hamstring injury, now may have a finger injury to go with that. And that left hand certainly just, it offers a lot of protection, as you can see there. This glove certainly not the kind you'd have in the 70s, but a lot of protection being offered for that. He's still just trying to flick the fingers, doing a bit of gardening, but giving himself some room here to recover. But that was a delivery that rose on him a bit sharply from Ryan John.
Well, the way in which he is shaking that hand, and it seems as though it's his inner palm that has been struck there, Vidya.
Down the leg side, that time from Ryan John. Anderson Phillip, the last man to go, LBW to McSween for 10. And also Charles went before that, bowled by Kotoy for 7. And the other wicket to go today, Joshua De Silva, caught by Hodge off Edward for 73. Those are the 3 wickets to go down today. Ryan John has continued. I don't think he saw that ball at all. It was thrown back to him and it just bounced past him there. Where's this game going to go here? Terence Hinds on 55. Even though he's gotten 55, he's given up quite a few chances already.
Yeah, he's been brave, Terence Hinds, and he's been quite positive, and no doubt that has proven to bear fruits for him.
Just to remind you that Terence Hinds did get 102 not out against the Leeward Islands here. January 2020 that was. TNT had scored 552 for 9 on that occasion and bowled out the Leeward Islands for 186 and 198. Joshua De Silva got 80 in that game. TNT went on to record a big victory in that one. And Hinds was particularly severe on the leg spinner, the Jamaican Damien Jacobs, who played for the Leeward Islands at that time. Cut away, and that is going to be 4. Short and wide outside the off stump, and nothing that Bishop can do except retrieve. Loosener, gentle one outside the off stump that Khan was very delighted to have. End of the over, 321 for 8.
Well, I think this may very well be the approach of Imran Khan here in this inning, seeing that he's injured. And as he ran to the other end there on that occasion, although he knew it was heading to the boundary Vidya, you could have seen him moving a bit gingerly.
I think you're being a bit generous in calling that running. It was more like trotting. Look at the left foot here. It goes nowhere, and that should tell you there's a reason for that. That is the leg that is in fact injured.
Yeah, and he did not move at all, as you mentioned. So, yeah, well, it was a gift from Ryan John, and he put it away.
Well, it's, as we mentioned earlier, Larry Edwards, it's his birthday today, but Khan getting a gift himself. So they're being very generous here. Windward Islands. McSween had a very good start to his spell today. First delivery swinging into Anderson Phillip, who padded up and was given out to LBW for 10. Good decision. Terence Hinds has chanced his arm every now and again. You would feel that with Preston McSween on, he's pitching the ball up, that we could see a few big booming drives, at least attempts at them, with the mid-on and the mid-off up here. Bisham, I guess you'll tell us a little bit more about that after this ball. And he sent that high up into the air. The fieldsman's coming around. It's just going to drop 10 meters in front of him. And well, I think that answers the question, doesn't it?
Yeah, you were just speaking about him looking to play those shots, and there it was.
Well, that's what they're inviting him to do, to go for those big drives, and hopefully he's going to miss time one and present a catch to mid-on or mid-off here. So they're trying to get him to drown in his own ambition here.
Yeah, and Preston McSween is getting prodigious movement into the right-hander, so he could very well use that as well.
Again, Khan just limping as he tried to pull that one away. And Imran Khan just to move forward slightly into the Windward Islands innings when it does start. Imran Khan with that hamstring injury, that left leg, that's of course the leg, the front leg, if you want to put it that way, when he's bowling. So I doubt we're going to see him bowling it in for the Trinidad and Tobago in this match.
Yeah, very much so, and that would be a big blow for them. Although they did not need him that much in the first game, he could have proven to be very vital in this game.
TNT, of course, will be looking to plug a gap there when that does happen in the Windward Islands innings. Good delivery from McSween. He's getting the ball to move into the right-hander. That one going straight on. Possibly the cross-seam delivery to prevent the swing there that time. But how would TNT, you think, plug that gap with Imran Khan if it's possible?
Well, I think we did not see much of Yannick Carrier, in the first game, so we could very well see him being introduced into the Red Force bowling attack in this game.
Yeah, also a leg spinner, Yannick. Khan limping down to the other end as Hodge is after this one. Yeah, he's just going to trot down. We're not going to see any sharp singles here for Imran Khan. Brave effort from the 37-year-old captain. Got to his 100th match in the last game. Was presented with a plaque by the Trinidad and Tobago Cricket Board president Azim Bassarat yesterday. And that was a good delivery there from Preston McSween. He just gets on with it. No sledging from him at all. He just gets on with his job.
Seems to have a calm head on his shoulders, Preston McSween.
Oh, it's just short off the fielder. Just a slight edge on that. But dropping short of the fielder, well short of Devon Smith. And the 40-year-old Smith, still looking very fit though. Tell you what, he looks like he could take on Floyd Mayweather in a bout. Not sure if he'll hit him though. Mayweather's very difficult to hit.
Just to touch on that shot there from Terence Hinds, he did not go confidently there, Vidya. Just hanging his bat out there rather, and in the end, getting an outside edge.
Yes, front foot's going, moving in millimeters rather than inches, Terence Hinds. That's how he plays the game. As 324 for 8, so Khan out there with Hinds. The over comes to an end. At the end of it is 324 for 8 here at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy. And there's still to come just the wicket, one more wicket to go. And the last man in is Jaden Seals, who has been sort of planted in that number 11 spot. Of course, the youngster on the team is always pushed down to the end. And then, of course, as he shows some promise with the bat, he might become a bit higher. Gabriel would have batted at number 11 in the last game.
Yeah.
So, Sherman Lewis coming your way now.
Yeah, Sherman Lewis, the pick of the bowlers for the Windward Islands Volcano, 3 for 41 in 20 overs. He got things started for them yesterday.
After that, TNT would have repaired the damage with that 112-run partnership between Correa and Jeremy Solozano. Let's see what he has to offer here. Solid looking defensive shot. The ball is only 5 overs old, so still a very new cherry in the hand of Sherman Lewis. So we have the 2 fast bowlers operating now with a new ball. Should be some interesting times here for the Windward Islands.
Yeah, for them and for Terrence Hinds as well, a test for him. Because, of course, we know that he has not opened, but he has not faced much of a new ball in his career. And it's a new test for him.
Does have the capacity to make that new ball disappear very quickly, though. Hits it very hard, Terrence Hinds. And that's what, if you pitch it up to him, he's going to go through for the shot. So just short of that length, they're going to force him to defend a lot here. Let's play on his confidence, and I think you might see one just slightly wide of the off stump coming somewhere in this over, Visham.
Yeah, and we could see an aggressive shot from Terrence Hinds on the cards as well.
There's always an aggressive shot when Terrence Hinds is on. You suspect there's always somewhere around. That's the one outside the off stump, and it's going to carry to the fielder, and he takes it very well, and that is the end of Terrence Hinds. He's out for 57. That was the plan. One short of a length, one outside the off stump. He just could not resist and went for it, and he is caught on the boundary. In fact, that may have carried for 6, caught by Ryan John off the bowling of Lewis, and that is the 4th wicket for Lewis.
Yeah, just looking to take Sherman Lewis over the top there, and Terrence Hinds having to depart for 57. A well-played knock off 57, though. 324 for 9 now, the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force. And guess who's the man that made the breakthrough for the Windward Island Volcanoes? Sherman Lewis.
So last man in now, that's Jaden Seals. And he is one of the millennials for TNT. And in action here for Trinidad and Tobago. Still to do much with his credentials as a batsman. We haven't seen much of him as a batsman. Actually made his debut for Trinidad and Tobago at first class level in the last game. And here's the dismissal once again. Once he was outside there, you knew that Terrence Hinds was going to go after it. And the plan was well executed here by the Windward Islands. And they had one of their best fielders out there, safest pair of hands, Ryan John. Perfect position. Tell you what, he didn't have to move an inch. He just stood there and took the catch.
Yeah, accepting a simple catch in the end there, and John, there's no way he could have dropped that.
Believe me, there are a lot of ways you could drop that, Vishal, but held his nerve well. And the thing about it, for those type of catches where you're rooted in position and the catch is coming straight to you, also you have enough time to outthink yourself in that catching situation, and he kept his nerve very well. Of course, just one more wicket here for the Windward Islands to take. Round the wicket now is Lewis. Searching for a 5-4 here. That should be 2 here for Seals, and he will get 2.
Yes, the GNC's getting off the mark straight away, having come to the crease, but he'll have a challenge on his hands there facing the bubbly Sherman Lewis.
So Lewis, as we mentioned, searching for that 5-wicket haul. 3 yesterday and 1 already today. And he will fancy his chances against the number 11 batsman here, the man from Grenada. Not like that though, down the leg side. Too much movement. Lewis born in Mount Horn, St. Andrew in Grenada. And he has taken, during his time in his career, he doesn't have, in terms of first class cricket, 5 4-wicket hauls he's had already, and 2 5-wicket hauls in his career. So searching for his 3rd 5-wicket in his career. So he's back at the top of his mark. Reckon that a Yorker might be coming soon.
That's where you'd want to be.
And there it is, not quite a Yorker, but he's gone straight through the defense of Jaden Seals. Excellent delivery that cut back in sharply and has taken the middle and off stump there. And exactly the kind of delivery you want to see from your fast bowler, hitting the top of off stump. And that is the end of the Trinidad and Tobago innings. TNT all out for 326. Excellent bowling by Lewis, and the new ball has done the trick. And it does beg the question, why did this not happen earlier here for the Windward Islands?
Yeah, very much so, but an excellent performance as well from the Windward Island Volcanoes this morning, picking up 5 wickets. And yeah, the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force 326. I think they would be happy with that being sent in yesterday So a good performance from both teams there, Vidya.
5-wicket haul for Sherman Lewis, who will lead the team off the field. He was the lava man of the day yesterday, as nominated by the Windward Islands team, and now he's going to lead his team off the field here with that 5-wicket haul. And there he is in front of, you'll see him in a moment, and there is the scorecard, dominated by 72 from Correa, 73 from Joshua De Silva, 66 from Solozano, and a good 50 from Terence Hinds. And TNT all out in 116 overs, 326. Here's the bowling figures. And at the top, there he is, Sherman Lewis, 5 for 43, continuing his excellent form with the ball. All of the Windward Islands bowlers taking wickets here. And they bowled out TNT for 326, and they will be batting next. So, would you be happy with this Trinidad and Tobago performance if you are David Furlong, the TNT manager?
Yes, definitely. So 326 batting first. If I was the coach, I'll take that any day, Vidya.
What about if you are the manager of the Windward Islands Volcanoes, Shirley Clark, who has been coming upstairs? He's had a look at the game from up on this side. Would you be happy with what your team has done?
Yeah, well, they have shown great fight back this morning as well to pick up those 5 wickets. I'll say I'll be happy with them, with their performance.
So Visham is happy, I'm happy, and we're all happy here. It's a very happy time. And you might hear the strains of Bobby McFerrin coming up. Don't worry, be happy. But anyway, all the same, it is the end of the innings for TNT. Join us in just about 8 minutes' time, where we continue with commentary as Windward Islands Volcanoes try to chase down and get somewhere close to this TNT, a score of 326.